How do you fight against that one?
I don't mean to be pessimistic here. I'm pretty optimistic most of the time, but I don't really see a way.
Why are
Uh,
you talking to a Scotsman if you want to be an optimist? That's a terrible thing.
um, well, fuck. Like where do we kind of? I don't understand what we do because it sounds like the politicians are the ones that can fix this, and
And they
they're
have all the
corrupted.
incentive not to
Yeah,
do it. Right, isn't that? Isn't
exactly.
that just brilliant? It's just lovely.
Yeah.
All right, so at the end of the book, one of the things that we try and do, I mean, these are all sort of like small scale, not mid-sized solutions, right? But the
Mhm.
one you could do that's pretty easy to do that would create a hell of a lot of a hell of a lot of cash without actually taxing anyone is to take the model of a sovereign wealth fund and basically do it for everyone. So I'll give you the example for Australia, right? Every 10 years now, there's a major financial crisis. And at that point in time, your central bank steps in and basically stops asset prices falling, either by issuing guarantees or sometimes actually buying the assets and giving them cash and doing these fancy things called quantitative easing, which is essentially I'll buy my bonds back and give you cash. The cash isn't earning you any money. Why don't you go buy some other shit? And then that goes up in value and it trickles down, and hopefully that makes people feel happier. It doesn't, it just makes houses more expensive. But anyway, putting that to one side. Why don't we do the following? Every time that share prices fall, the government, the fund, which is completely independent of the government, steps in with a big line of credit from the treasury and buys them. And we just hold them. We don't buy them and give them back to the private sector. We just hold them for us, for all of us. Why don't we get the upside? Now, we know that every time that you stabilize these markets, there's a huge rally up, right? So the Dow, to take the example from 2008, the Dow went from 14,000 down to 6,500. It is now at 28,000. So imagine if you'd bought at 6,500, you'd issued 20% of GDP in bonds, you'd swapped those bonds for cash, you then got the cash and bought those shares. You would have stabilized the market and then benefited from the uprise in that, which runs at about 6% a year in real terms. Take out inflation at 2%, call that 4%. If you basically do this over a 15-year period, that would give you, if you did 20% of US GDP at 20 trillion, which is 4 trillion compounded at 5%, you get about 2.5 trillion bucks after about 10 years for doing nothing.
Mm.
How much is Biden's social infrastructure package? 2.3 trillion. I can pay for the whole lot. I could alternatively wipe out every student debt in the United States and have change left over. So there's lots of things you can do. You just have to have the imagination to want to do it.